Good afternoon into the evening to all of you over there in the United States. So the phones are really nice, strategically placed in four Buddha statues that y'all cannot see. And I can't move all these devices just because they're now stationary. But it's pretty cool to see the um, the Buddha in a reclining position. We have Maitreya Buddha on directly in front of me, and a sitting Buddha on the right hand side. Behind me is the monastery where I'm staying at, and it is under construction. They're building another one in front of the old one, which is right directly to my right. And like to say that welcoming all of the new students that are just now coming in to my channels. Every month we have at least 800 new people merging over to YouTube. This morning here, it's now morning here, 9 in the morning here, is from New York, and she told me I was afraid to reach out to you, and none of you all should be afraid to reach out to me or to think that I'm too busy to encounter all of you, the general public. Indeed, this trip was meant as a vacation, but we all know I don't really get a vacation. And it is exactly that that makes it interesting and fun. Lately here, where I was asked to teach and now teaching English here to all of the novices that you've seen featured on my featured on my what are we doing? TikTok. So so someone just says come to India. Well, this is the second invitation to India, but I don't have the budget to go to India. No money. John don't have any money to go to India right now. There's a big event over there, and I don't. This is the first time in my life where in certain places they invite me. Ever since becoming a monk, I've been stationary, and after my apprenticeship of 5 years, I went off in solitude. One of those, one particular year is dedicated to silence, with extreme encounter. What am I trying to say? With extreme limited encounter with the public and phone calls, because the purpose is to practice the dependent origination in silence. So I don't know how it works. I know that you all want me to come visit you all here and there, but right now the budget is very limited, very, very limited. And actually, today's talk is going to be about that, the priority of charity and current programs and update on my trip. So I just got back from South, and we went from north to south, and then now just arrived back yesterday. It was very interesting. I was listening to Dhamma. The road is dirt, big potholes, a lot of violence, um, bearable, but not. I don't think you all would really like the heat, being all of us from the West and used to air conditioning. But I'm making the most out of it here as much as I can. A lot of ceremonies, a lot of merit making, rites, rituals, and the abundance of giving here. The heart of the people is amazing. They are dirt poor. This is a third world country, and they come with all of these gifts and food, and their love, devotion, dedication for the monks is unprecedented. Unprecedented. However, me being the teacher that I am, yes, giving is necessary and is priority, but to also balance that with practice and the intellectual part of the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. So, yeah, I do have my objections in there. I am somewhat of a difficult teacher. I am easygoing, I smile, I laugh, I joke around with you guys, as evident in the TikTok videos. But when it comes down to it, down to business of our practice of samadhi and vipassana, Don't waste a lot of time doing rites, rituals, and here and there. Just get it done over with, chant quickly, and get back to meditation. That's my thing. This also reminds and introduces some of the new students who are new to me. Well, we'll be wondering, how does Venerable Chi Dao teaches? What makes him different from other teachers? And I emphasize on knowing what is going on in our life, what is causing you peace. Okay, we're going to trace that through work, home, school balance. And number two, coming up with the how. Then that's my job, is to come up with the how we're going to resolve your mental stress, anxiety, agitation, depression, and so on. So it's that fine balance, but I just wanted to give you all a overall general description of the heart of the people here. Now in the West, well, maybe I shouldn't start comparing, but if you must know that the West wants to know intellectually, and I just did a review with a student, and I went and I said, "What is the first noble truth?" He couldn't explain it in a way that was satisfactory for me. He couldn't explain it in a way where I felt that a 10-year-old could understand. So when you all are studying the Four Noble Truths with me, we need to be able to explain it to a 10-year-old where they can understand what is the first noble truth in simplicity. And that we see everything in our lives through the informed lens of the Four Noble Truths, the informed lens of the teachings of the Buddha, because it is right view under the Noble Eightfold Path. But anyways, I try to make it fun, interesting, engaging, applicable, realistic, clinical, where you have different approaches from the teacher that ensures that you're getting quality delivery of discipline, quality delivery of the practice, and the monitoring of that. I think that's going to be important, is supervision. And that is why I ask students check in with me every 2 weeks. Keep a journal so you can measure your own progress. Check in every 2 weeks so I can see where you're at, how you study. Study once and remember it 10 times, or study it 10 times and remember it once. How much you work, the science of your work, how many hours that you are working, and how working affects the way how you study, work, home, school balance, eating, sleeping, okay. And if you have a romantic life, then how does that play in the puzzle of the pie of us trying to come up with a good blueprint for you to live the middle way, the Noble Eightfold Path? A lot of you ask, so how's everything going? And well, I also should also make this other statement, which is Venerable Chi Dao asserts that his teaching is effective, comprehensive, efficient, comparable to some of the samples of the population that I have seen and interviewed here in Southeast Asia, which includes Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and soon to be Cambodia. Some of the people who responded to everyday life stresses were puzzling to me. My review of the literature of the previous Arahants, previous good, qualifying, authentic, and experienced teachers, gives me insight that I originally came up with a very good, effective, comprehensive program to meet people where they're at and to help them through the stresses of life, the effectiveness of understanding the what, which is the diagnosis, and coming up with the how. Okay. Okay, so moving on. So some of you have been asking how everything is going, and of course, if you ever engage one-on-one session with me, I am very honest. I mean, I've been transparent since the dawn of time of getting online and becoming a social media monk with all of you about the teachings and where I'm at with my own journey, the challenges that I face, good, bad, monastic stuff. What's the term that I use? Monastic economics, health of monks, and so on across all measurements, all systemic scientific measurements of this logistic, how I work, how I work with others, how others work with me, and the things that we're looking forward to, and the challenges that we are facing. We all move through this, so this is part of life, no different than the life of the Buddha. After achieving enlightenment, he had to also go through some of the trial and tribulations and challenges that was thrown at us and enemies, and they tried to kill him 3 times. His own cousin tried to kill him 3 times. Imagine that. Nonetheless, any of the challenges that we're facing now in front of us, and at the time of this talk. And upon my conversation with this student in New York, it is going to be decided 80% so far that I probably should establish a nonprofit organization when I get back home. Sneeze. I am a 37-year-old young monk, and I approach things from a very scientific standpoint. Approach things through the informed lens of praise and blame, the avoidance of praise and blame, and that the utilization of time in order to elicit the truth out of humans. That means in Florida, in order to establish a 501c3, you need 5 people on the board. I have been trained in 501c3 at Edgar College. And so therefore, the selection standards for any 5 individuals is no different than the Buddha selecting 5 first disciples, is going to be rigorous. Turn on my GoPro. It's going to be rigorous, and I have to go through security measures of who are these people sitting on my board. And it is going to be well founded that they're going to be the individuals that I have canonized as saints under this school, not saints as what you would think saints are in the Catholic world or under Buddhism, but for the one that gave more and took less, for the one that tried hard to keep the precepts and the cross measurements of the threefold training, because I have to be able to justify that, don't I? We always have to pretend things are going to hit the fan. And this is why no wonder certain CEOs in the corporate world could not stand up to Congress and the Senate and the House when they're under scrutiny, under the microscope, and there were certain questions being asked. They're like, what? It's a yes or a no. We didn't ask for an explanation. Then they argue, and then they get into it, and it's like, that's not very respectful standing in front of Congress. So my whole life trained as a judicial officer, as an interpreter in the courthouse, is exactly that. Number one, keep sila at all and any cost. Must keep the precept at all and any cost. Because, no one exempt praise or blame. Not the Buddha, not Jesus Christ, not any other big figures in our history of society, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and myself. Simply put, I'm a celebrity monk, what they call it nowadays. I don't exempt praise or blame. But, however, what I was able to conclude was that I lived a judicious life, as judicious as it's ever going to get. And I've also challenged the mass of the public is to find the faults. And, my life is up for examination. So therefore, everything that I do, because I want to set the stage of integrity and purity of the Dhamma and of the monastic order. Joining the monastic order is to make it better, not worse. Some other institution and religion, some people joined and obviously making it worse. How? I don't know. What goes on inside, outside, I don't know. I just don't know. Don't want to know. However, as a modern day Theravada Buddhist monk, I think that the responsibility lies is Venerable Chidao kind of system do you have? So obviously, so far the teachings have been quite blameless. No one's ever came back, senior teachers, and good grace, I get over here, and once they find out who I am, obviously some people have been following for a very long time. You have senior teachers that have PhDs in Buddhist studies and so on and so on, and I have never been called out for any one of my teachings. So that is quite impressive. And that's not to like toot my own horn. That's just to everyone to understand the qualities of a good, qualifying, authentic, and experienced teacher, both academically and practice. So, and then the other thing is, so how do, Venerable Chidao teaches, how does he run his system? And when it comes down to his nonprofit, and of course, people get in trouble in America, in the nonprofit sector, especially in the religion realm, of taxes and money. Always money problems. Money is the root of all problems, isn't it? And so I get to study all of those cases where, tax evasion and all this, and it's like, really, they have gone to great extent and effort into concealment and hiding, and it's just like, for what? How do you sleep at night? How do you, in order to get a good night's sleep, your mind needs to be peaceful, and you can't be peaceful if you're hiding and stealing, which is the precept, second precept. I did not wherever. So guess what? School of Jidao is going to do just that, and the opposite of that is we're going to, have that type of overseeing supervision, which is me overseeing the 5 board members, and to ensure that whatever comes in is recorded and is open to a public examination at any point in time. Nonetheless, government officials. When I did my training at Eckerd College, and I went to Asian Neighborhood Family Center to conduct my research into nonprofit. And my father used to work at ANFC, so I have a historical background of ANFC and its downfall, previous downfall before Miss Caroline became CEO. But they didn't know who I was. This is why I don't tell people who I am. I just don't tell people. That's how I elicit the truth out of people quickly. So you all learn these little psychological tricks that I have in order to elicit the truth out of places so that you can get to the point and see things as they are. Keyword, see things as they are. That's what we teach you all to do, see things as they are. That's what the Buddha teaches you to do, see things as they are. That is Vipassana practice. So I go in there and Miss Caroline's got all her folders out. And it's a lot. And she says, I understand you're a student. I understand that you're here conducting research into nonprofit for your class with Professor Groesbeck and finance, log, mileage, everything. All of their operational logistical details were in uniformity. And I just felt so good, and I just felt like, yeah, this is how things should be done. And that's what I like, American law and procedures and protocols. A lot of things we do right in America. And of course, we all know that I also praise and blame systems in America, legal, medical, nonprofit, so on. Yeah, I also play devil's advocate. But so I had a big smile, and I went and just flipped through everything. But Miss Caroline doesn't know if I am from IRS. Miss Caroline does not know if I'm a special agent with Department of Justice, DOJ, or Attorney General, right? I could be posing as that, right? So I find, the way how the entire encounter, which I was ultra mindful, super supreme, ultra mindful in engaging with the CEO, because ANFC held a special place in my heart. It changed my life. And it gave my dad a good job to support our family. So it was like a big thing in my heart. So I'm encountering this new CEO. My eyeballs like this big. My pupils and everything is at her. The nature, tone of her voice, everything. It's kind of like FBI profiling. Just because I want to know who this woman is and how do you run this place with this many children. How do you run this place with this amount of funding, and whether it is, within the scope and practice of what a nonprofit should be, the integrity. And she was very impressive. Like, wow. And at the end of it, it brought a smile to my face and did and tell and presentation and PowerPoint. Therefore, moving on forward, the and these group members are young. Nowadays, we see a lot of young talents. We are the new generation of millennials and Zoomers, where you know we got young doctors, we got young OBGYNs, young nurses. I mean, I've worked in the OB department at All Children's Hospital, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're a nurse? And they're like, no, I am a doctor, MD. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, you look like you're in high school. I'm sorry, that's a compliment. So the people that's gonna be on my board is consistent and indicative of Gen Millennial so far that could identify. And as I'm getting to know some of you all across the world, I am learning to trust you as you are learning to trust me. And one of the things is you all can feel free to run an FBI background check on me. And I'm telling you in front of the whole world live right now that I've never been convicted of a crime, not even a misdemeanor. So, and I'm learning to trust all of you, which all of you will also have to submit to a background check if you sit on the board of examination, board of trustees, and so on for this nonprofit. All of the students that I have previously announced and have made saints under this virtue of morality. I have knowledge, direct, immediate, instantaneous knowledge that they do not have convictions of good moral character as defined under state law. This GoPro's giving me problems. Hello, is it dead? No way. There's no way this thing died. It died. This is like super old. I need more GoPros. Just because technology is fair. Wow. Um, and so they'll be sitting on the board. And so, all right. So moving forward, fast forward, right? They will sit. They will put all of their brains and geniuses together. However, they are the establishment of the 501. They will be subject to government inspection. They will be subject to your inspection at any point in given time, at any time of the day. And the scope purpose of the nonprofit is to raise money. Of course, it's to raise money. For what? For number one, the continuous children who are dying every day in my program of catering to student suicide, teen suicide, and to increase student resiliency. And we need to also expand that scope and practice and jurisdiction to adults now. We got issues with males problems and female psychological problems of body dysmorphic disorder. The things that we see in women, we now see in men. The things that we see in men, now we see in women, as indicative of the psychiatrist reports and American Association for Psychiatry and APA and just all of the research that has been overwhelming so far and my up-to-date knowledge of such research. I hope to be different. I hope to make a lasting impact in our society. I hope to bring funding here in Southeast Asia, where you see sceneries like this. And the abbot here is 33 years old. Once again, the new generations of abbots are young, talented, quick-witted, good decision makers, and they're dirt poor. They have like the novices that came with me. I think there was a video that I have yet to publish. Their robes that they wear. Oh my God, this got white paint on it. It's old. It's got holes in them because they don't have any more uniforms here. Something that the abbot told me. He's like, yeah, when I get to Thailand, I gotta get more robes, and they don't even have the basic requisites here. So I really want everyone to take that to heart. I know that you guys are watching across the world, and I used to watch across the world and comfy in the couch, TV, Netflix, and all of that. If I showed you my toilet, you're gonna be grossed out. I was grossed out just because I was trying to condition myself again to third world. No AC. I had to depart from MCU, the university, just because I was literally dying, melting in there. I felt like a candle wax melting in there. It was so hot that you can't sleep. It's so hot that like your whole review of system is affected. Health is affected. Access to water. I'm brushing my teeth every morning, and why does that water taste like that? It tastes like arsenic. That's not good. That needs to change to ensure the survival and continuation and the survivability of. I just don't know what's happening. Access to medical care. They don't have access to medical care, nor do they have the basic stuff that we know about taking care of our body. Like lab work, X-rays, ultrasounds, all the stuff that I was trained in clinical care for the past 20 years and 20 years of clinical direct experience. They don't have, so therefore they like to leave it up to nature. A lot of misinformation, and I mean, they revert back to the old days of the Theravada ways, which is leave it up to nature. But they forgot that the Buddha also remind them that a wise person also take care of their body, get to point A to point B, and not leave it up to karma. There's a lot I have to teach here, folks. You can tell. So, but I'm identifying the problems, identifying the what first, and then how we're going to solve the problems for these folks. So I'm looking to my left, and we got problem with sanitation. We got we access to soap. Okay, access to quality FDA CDC approved soap that could like kill 99.9% of bacteria. Yes, be grateful, folks, that you guys have that in your bathroom right now, because they don't have that and I don't have that. And last night, I swear I had a sore throat, and I was just like, "Where's this coming from?" And I was trying to trace the root cause of the sore throat, and I'm like, "It better go away." I got some teachings today, and I think that dirt on the because the abbot also went through that, and I was like, ugh. We don't have any chloroseptic spray here, nor can I find some. I probably have to go find some. But this resolved. I didn't have a bottle of water. I had like this much water in one bottle that was cracked open. And I was just hoping, I'm like, listen, immune system, I need you to get it together. I need you to get all of my cells together and kick whatever the hell I got's ass so I can function as who I am. I need to function today. Today's not a day I'm gonna sit there and sweat and fight this whatever the hell I got in here right now. I ain't got no doctor that yeah, you have strep throat, you have this, you have that. I don't need to hear that. So, access to antibacterial soap. Yeah, it's just a lot of things. I'm sorry. It's just a lot of things that goes through the mind of a CDC informed monk. You all feel me? You understand where I'm coming from, right? Again, I lived in America for 30 years. I immigrated to America in 95. So, I get to watch. I work with doctors, lawyers, and judges. So, I've been through the clinical practices and have been considered, along with the professionals. So, of course, my informed view of my world and what the world I think should be for these folks are going to be quite different. So, of course, just bear with me as I identify some of these very basic necessities. Need to be that source, which is a small thing. Small thing. Let me bring my attention to Priest Father Venerable Aloysius Schwartz, who was a Catholic priest, was elevated to, I think he was Monsignor, and then he was elevated to Venerable. And I think they're going to make him a saint. I think they're already in the process of making him a saint. Anyways, what did he do? He went to Korea, Philippines, and Mexico. He wrapped up his career in Mexico, but started off in Korea, where of which he built hospitals and schools for thousands of poor kids, thousands. There are documentaries right now. If you could put Aloysius Schwartz, father or venerable Aloysius Schwartz, so many documentaries. His bishop even tried to kill him. So the many challenges that he had to do to reel in millions of dollars to create these heaven for these kids. That. It is a challenge for me because it's a good challenge. It is a worthwhile challenge. It is a challenge indicative of meaning, purpose, in my life, and it should be for the same in your life. Give them a name to remember for the rest of eternity. Yes, because it's easy being Joe Blow Schmo like everybody else. Difficult to be that one person that's so different, of giving, that thought of other people. And my heart melts. And for the first time, I get to feel what Father Schwartz felt when he literally smelled poverty, which I got to smell poverty. I got to also smell a dead body here too. The cremation is 100, how many yards? 500 yards that way. Okay. And you all see what's behind me. Images that has yet to be uploaded from this GoPro. And I got to poverty and how my heart was moved, like Father Schwartz. Because you see, when you all see this across your TV screen, which is all the stuff that you see Iran, Iraq, Bangladesh, and India, and all this other stuff, and you're just like, oh, your heart's not moved, and so therefore you don't reach for your wallet and reach your credit card and call that 1-800 number, just because you're just like, oh, well, that's great. I have my own bills to deal with, you know. So we immediately go back to this me, mine, I, practice of the non-self, anatta lakkhana. But when you're actually here, this is why most of my videos that I have yet to publish encourages people to say, come here and feel, to see, to feel, to change your view and perspective, and tell me how does that feel to look at these children, to look at poverty, to look at pain, suffering. This is your fellow human. This is your brothers and sisters. And I was just moved. I was just so in tears. And just yesterday we went to the market, and the GoPro was going, and I gave the, as soon as all this unfolded, I gave the GoPro to the novice, and I'm not sure if it captured the moment where the kids were fighting. And I'm giving out money to the kids because they were everywhere. They came in like, you know how you feed catfish? You know, like you throw stuff into the lake, pond, river, whatever. And like one catfish come, and then like five, and then 10, and all of a sudden like there's 25 of them, and like the more you throw in the water, they just like, rah, they just splash water. Well, in real life, folks, these kids, in front of the GoPro, and in front of novice Sai, just over there running around in red robes, they, I am a monk in a country that is predominantly Buddhist, and they were fighting in front of me. They were snatching the money out of my hand. And then so I like retreated back to the truck because I'm like, okay, this is not safe to stand here right now because they're probably gonna eat me alive. I run back to the abbot, and the abbot says, it hurts to see this. The abbot refuses to give them money. Now I know why. And gave them a bag of food and treats and stuff that, you know, people give us in alms round. But he was also moved by it, and it's further discussions that the abbot and I are going to talk about. But you know, what I'm talking about here, it still seems small to me, and I really want to match Venerable Aloysius Schwartz. It's my vision to match that type of magnitude of hard work, good work, the thousands of kids. We have so many kids. And by the way, if you plan to have kids, please don't have kids. School of Jidao assert that you should try not to have kids because we have so many kids to adopt, so many kids to take care of, versus creating another kid of our blood, our DNA. For what? Do you have at least a bachelor's or a master's in parenting? Then don't have kids. You'll be creating a lot of harm for you and for your child to be born into a world that is now out of control, and we're trying our best as monks, trying to get it, you know, hold it together. There you go. Hold it together and just trying to get by. Oh, with the many adjectives that you all can replace. So let us reflect on the priority of charity and giving through this talk, and the good news and announcement of the potential and likely chance of establishing a 501c3 with the blessing of the new volunteers that have reached out. And if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, then please do so. We need more volunteers, and we need good qualifying people to be on the board of the 501c3. I will need that. I this is a place appropriate where I'm able to liberally talk about this. Because in America, first of all, I am a Vietnamese American monk. And so I have to be careful of what I say and set the stage for other people, which is number one, always cite the rules for monks. It is what makes us us. It is what makes us true, authentic us. That we can't ask for anything but a cup of water. That is why they venerate and hold in deep respect for Theravadan monks. And number two, I had to be cautious about asking or even making a compelling case about anything. Just because everybody knows people in the West always try to find faults about this and that. And so what I did was I said, guess what? A warrantless search, go ahead. Any federal agent want to go through my bank account all day, every day, right now at the time of this talk? And I did that for the past 2 years. Nobody did. No, 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 I haven't been, under scrutiny for that. Nor do I care, because there's nothing in there throughout any investigative routing or of numbers. So it is part of setting the stage to live a judicious and principled life that I hope to lead as me, of who I am. And it is what's different than the corruption and the scamming that we've seen in the world. It cannot be like that. We should never replicate the scamming and the some of these things that we've seen previously that destroys the view of the people and of the monastic order. So in a sense, I am rigid in that fact. And blessed are those who follows me. Blessed are those who practice this way. Blessed are those who follow the right way. It's that saying that I always say. There's the right way, and then there's your way. Not to you guys, but whoever's on the other side. And your way just so happens to be wrong, or not effective, or not efficient. We just got to be light a little bit. And as I study some of the arahants that is here, and some of the leaders that are here, and some of the leaders of yesterdays in the Burmese tradition, in the Thai tradition, and I realize one of these days when I pass away, they're going to write a biography about me, and that's going to be one hell of a big, thick book about the integrity and purity of the triple gem that I led in modern day 2024 and proceeding on forward with the Gen Zoomers and whatever generation we had to encounter next thereafter. So I hope that all of you think wisely. And at this point, I would say save up and just come to Southeast Asia and start to cultivate right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. I don't really care much about the money. I don't really care much about whether the nonprofit kicks off or don't kick off. I think the most important part of it is, yeah, I do want this for these people. I do want this for our world. Whether it happens and comes to fruition is in accordance to my karma and our collective karma. And the karmic effects of cause and effect for all of these novices that is here. It is what it is. It can't be what it ain't. And we have to return back to our own practice. So therefore, my continuous encouragement for all of you is that if you're not happy with yourself, if there's a thing that is egging, you can't sleep, there's something that's egging inside of you, aching and egging, and it's not sitting well right now, then leave. Save up and leave. Stop buying material things. Buy experiences. Come here while I am still here. That means lunchtime. Give me 1 second here. Is to come here and experience what I am telling you. Obviously, you all get to hear it from an intellectual, cognitive standpoint, but it's very different when you're standing here with me and your view is changed, and that's when you realize, oh my God, I have cultivated samadhi, right view. Okay, so check mark. All right, now you got 7 more in the Noble Eightfold Path. So I like to conclude my talk here after hitting the drum for lunchtime. All of the novices are not running. They're walking towards the activity hall here, and because there's so many media, I can't turn all 4 of them at the time, as this being recorded on both Facebook Instagram, and YouTube right now. And you may have to listen to this talk again because there was a lot of details that you may have missed. And to think, how can I be a solution to a lot of problems that's right now in the world? But I've tried to narrow it down as much as I can. Achievable problems that we can achieve, we can fix, so we can play an important role and part in this, and to rejoice the art of making merit. And I have yet to make a video on making merit and the value of merits. Anyone who is Southeast Asia, the student today, she spoke Thai. She is American. She works for Wall Street. She's in New York. And she spoke Thai with the Abbot. And I was like, and so she understands our system. She paid respect in front of this right here. She put her phone down. She gave 3 bows. And I just want to see more of that in the world. Would want. I better readjust my wants. So I hope this talk brings a smile to your face, and we should practice the practice of the non-self, and we suffer when we focus inward. My money, my material, my world, my room, my job, my boyfriend, me, I feel this way, I am this, I am a CEO, I don't want to travel. The more we focus on that, coming back to the self-centeredness of us, is when we start to just lose ourselves. So find and rediscover yourself again. And I hope to see you all soon. More talks, of course, expansion of this talk. I hope that I was comprehensive and effective here. This setting in front of me, the fact that I feel like I'm talking to the Buddha because there's 4 Buddha statues in front of me, was very appropriate. And this talk comes right after talking to 2 other students this morning. And I think I want to leave this conversation lastly with saying cellular changes, cellular biological changes in the human body. When you come to a place like this, you wake up different. When right view is cultivated, you wake up different. And we'll leave it as that. And I have to Abbott's now calling me. May you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, I'm coming, I'm coming. Oh, man.